All right, let's get started.
Everybody. Welcome. Thank you all for joining us today. My name is Paige Fairbanks-Gunn, and I work for Kelsch Senior Communities. I am the relationship manager in our Arizona market. We have independent living, assisted living, and also memory care communities throughout 8 different states. I'm super excited about this webinar today because we are introducing and have our guests today that are 3 residents from the Park at Copper Creek, which is our independent living community in Chandler, Arizona. And I'm going to hand it over to my very dear friend and co-host, Pam Ostrowski.
And we'll get those introductions out to you as to who we have with us today. Very special people. My name is Pam Ostrowski, and I'm the founder of Alzheimer's Family Consulting. And I work with all people who are in the aging process in trying to figure out, how do we increase our brain health? How do we help others who are having some cognitive issues from early stages? Because you know what, we all forget things. And if we can all help each other, if I can help you as a caregiver or an individual, that's what I'm here for. So today we are going to get started with our guests. So Paige, do you want to introduce our guests, and then we will ask the first question?
Absolutely. Well, I'd like to introduce Carol, ladies first. Carol has been with us. She's been with us 2 years. So Carol, we're so happy that you're here with us today. And then we also have Ed, and he has been with us just a little over a year, about January of 2023. And we welcome Ed. And then we also have Arnie, who has been with us about 14 months. So there's Arnie. Welcome, everybody.
Hi, Paige.
Okay, hi there.
All right. So what we're going to do is we came up with some questions that we received from folks who are thinking about moving into independent living. And we thought it would be better than us telling you what it's like to have real, live, amazing residents tell you what they really think. So no holds barred, you guys. You know, this audience is here to hear the truth. So let's get started. Paige, this is actually for all 3 of the individuals. The question is, what actually prompted you to even consider independent living? And we'll start out with Ed. What got you to think about going into independent living?
Well, it was interesting to me, Pam, that after my wife had passed away, and it was about 3 or 4 years, actually, right, 2 years ago this summer, though, I was visiting my son in Colorado. And at breakfast one morning, he said, "Hey, Dad, what's your plan B?" And of course, I said, "Plan B? I don't even have a plan A." But it did start me thinking about what was going on in my life. And I lived in a very large house, and I lived in 3 rooms. And like a lot of us that are single, that's what you do. And so I started thinking about condensing my life, getting everything organized. And so that's what I did. Then I went out and I started looking at different properties, and I ended up at
all right, well, we're going to get to that. Don't give it away.
Okay, all right, but that's what started the whole process right there.
That's very cool. So, you know, and sometimes it is our adult children who prompt that. Well, what are you going to really do? What are you going to do in the next step or stage? So Arnie, what prompted you to consider moving to independent living?
Well, after my wife passed away, the house that I was living in was just too big, too hard to maintain. And I began looking at facilities that could satisfy me. And I won't go any further, but that was the main reason I decided to. The house was just too much for me to take care of. Yeah,
and that's a really good reason. Who wants to mow the lawn and maintain the air conditioning when somebody else can do that? Carol, how about you?
Yes. Well, again, my husband had passed away, and I got really tired of coming home to an empty house. It was lonely, and my children live in this area. So I decided to start looking because I knew it was time for me to move.
Great. Thank you, guys. So Paige, you want to ask the next question?
Okay, so the second question is, what process did you follow when evaluating senior living communities? Ed?
Well, back to where I left off there, I did go out then and look at a lot of different properties. And they all essentially looked like hallways with doors, to tell you the truth. They had the standard things in them, but I came to independent living, and I love this place. It is wide hallways. It feels more like a home than just a shell of a building. The people here, this is the real plus, is the socialization and the connections that you can make here. That's what really drew me in. Everybody was smiling. There are a lot of happy people here. It makes you feel at home. I loved it, and I still love it.
So Ed, when you were, how many places did you look at? Did you have a process that you used to evaluate?
I made a list of them close to the area that I lived in, Pam.
Mm-hmm.
And there was approximately, as I recall, 5 or 6 places.
Wow.
I really stumbled across the park quite by accident. My nephew worked in Sun Lakes where I was living, which is in a retirement community. And he told me about customers of his who had moved here and loved it. And I hadn't even heard about it. So I came up here. I'll tell you, I walked out of here after looking at others that day, and I just knew I just hit a home run.
Here's my check.
Love that. Thank you, Ed.
Okay, so our next question is for Arnie. And the question is, what features were you looking for? And also, which ones did you want to avoid? So what were you looking for, and what did you absolutely not want?
Well, I knew what I was looking for because my wife had been in an assisted living facility. So I knew what I wanted. And I looked at many facilities, I would say probably 6. And this one was the one that I think checked all my boxes.
What were in the boxes? What kind
Yeah.
of what kind of criteria did you have?
Well, I wanted something that was not connected to an assisted living or a memory care facility. I wanted something more independent with more active people.
Mm-hmm.
And this was the one that kind of checked my boxes. The minute I was in here, I knew this was a place for me because the friendliness was just unbelievable, that everybody was so acceptable to you. And
what about proximity? Because didn't you live in the neighborhood before that?
Yes, I did live maybe 1.5 miles from here, and I had driven by many times and not realizing this facility was even here. And I was invited to have a 3-day kind of staycation to try this place out, and I was so impressed with that even more ensured me that I wanted to live in this facility. The friendships were just wonderful here.
So you mentioned staycation. What do you mean by that?
Well, I was invited to have a 3-day stay and to try it out. And to be honest, if I wasn't invited for that 3-day stay, I probably wouldn't be here, because I needed that to ensure that I was selecting the right location and the right facility.
Yeah.
And the plus for me was this was so close to my home, and I was so familiar with this area that it was a perfect setting for me to be here.
Yeah, because you wouldn't have to, like, you know where the grocery store is, you know where to take your car for oil changes.
Exactly. It was very, very comfortable living so close to my home. Yes.
Yeah, very good. Well, that's
that
good.
made the big difference. Yes.
Well, I'm happy for you. So
thank you.
Paige, you want to ask question number? Oh, Ed, did you have a tag on?
If you don't mind, Pam, one thing I really want to stress is we looked at all these places that had assisted care, and that becomes then a criteria when you're looking, what happens if I move into an independent care facility and I'm going to need assisted care? And there are so many, I didn't realize it, but there are so many outside sources that can come in here and give you, if your assisted care is not requiring it daily, you get by. But it's as I said to my son, what if I move in here and I need all this help? And he said, Dad, you've looked at a whole bunch of assisted care places. You know what you like. I'll start at the top and start going down until I find your room. But there's other options when you move into independent care that you don't need the assisted. And I'm sorry I didn't say that earlier.
Oh, no, not at all. Don't worry about it.
Thank you.
So the nice thing, if I understand you correctly, is like you could hire a professional caregiver from an
That's
agency
correct. Yeah.
and pick how many hours a day that you might need some help. And yeah, so it allows you to stay in an environment that's stimulating and beautiful and has good food and has
All the
Arnie
above,
and
yeah.
Carol and everybody else. And and
Really?
yeah, so that's good. That's great.
Ed, you're absolutely right. I'm glad you said that because there are so many options available and from very small areas of time, you know, brackets of time where people can come in and help set up medi-sets for 15 minutes to an hour to however much you need. So I'm glad you pointed that out.
People
Thank you.
just don't realize that, though. That's the big unknown factor.
That's
A
right.
good point. It's a good point. Okay, Paige, question
All
4.
right. We have a question for Carol, and it is, how did you decide on Kelch Communities, the park at Copper Creek?
Well, I also looked at several other facilities. My daughter took me and we looked around. I came from Phoenix and my children are in this area. So I was fairly used to the Chandler area because they lived here for so long and I was back and forth. But I looked at several communities, and again, I did not want assisted living. I wanted someplace that was independent with people that were active and doing things. So when I looked at the others and saw that they had nursing care or memory care, I knew that that wasn't for me. And so when we came in here, I mean, it just blew me away. I looked around and I thought, you know, this is it. This is it, because everybody was so friendly and they're all active and independent, doing what they want when they can. You can do as much as you want or as little as you want. And it's just a wonderful place. It's just, I feel like I'm on vacation every day. I really
So
do.
Carol, I have to ask you to talk about your apartment, because when you and I talked about it, I was like, I'm moving in.
Well, oh, are you asking me?
Yes. What's your
Oh, okay.
apartment like?
Okay, well, I'm in a 2-bedroom, 2-bath, and I face the courtyard. And the courtyard is wonderful. Every window in my apartment, from my living room, my guest bedroom, my master bedroom, all face the courtyard. So I always feel like I'm outside. You know, when I have a nice patio out there that's fenced, I can go sit out there and have coffee in the morning if I want, or go out in the evening when the weather's nice. And it's just so homey. And I was able to bring most of my furniture with me. So it was really familiar to have all of my things. And they were also helpful here. When you move in, you know, there's the maintenance man that he hangs everything, your pictures, he hung my mirrors, he just did, you know, hooked up my television.
Wow.
It really was nice. I love my apartment. It's the best. I always feel
Awesome.
like I'm inside.
Oh, that's wonderful. So thank you for sharing that. We always like to know, what it feels like. So we're going to ask all 3 of you some questions about that. Laura, I see your question. We're going to hold off on your question for just a little bit, because I think we have an answer for you as a result of one of the other questions we're asking. So, yeah. So now we've covered what got you to consider independent living, and then, what helped you make that decision. So now let's talk about moving in. Like, when you moved in, what was it like that first month or two? Were you lonely? Did you feel left out? Did you feel awkward? Arnie, why don't we ask you that question?
Okay. I'm a very social person and I made friends right away. And everybody here was so welcoming. I felt just very accepted. And we have a breakfast club in the morning where many of us will sit at a table and we just will joke and just discuss things that happened during the day or previously, and just lots of fun. And we just enjoy it every morning. It just starts our day off on the right track. So yeah, that I had no problem being here at all. I had no issue with as far as being accepted, making friends, and everyone here is just wonderful. And I can't say enough about the place. It's just wonderful to me.
Well, so Arnie, something you shared with me when I asked about food is that you said it's a good thing there's a gym. Can you?
Yes, that's right.
The gym
Yeah.
and
Yes, I do. They do have a gym here, and I do use the facility 3 times a week. And it's so convenient. It's right in the building here, and I just use it all the time.
that's
So
good.
that's very, very good for me to not to have to leave the facility.
And then one more thing that you had mentioned, well, aren't you do leave the community because aren't you a volunteer somewhere?
I am. I do volunteer at the Sky Harbor Airport, and I've been doing that for like 16 years, and I do this every single week, and it gets me kind of out of here and being able to meet people, my friends that I at the airport. So yes, that's true.
Okay,
Yes.
just want to make sure because we want people to understand you guys aren't trapped there, right?
No,
So-
we're not. No,
yeah.
we're not in jail here.
Come and go.
We're free. We're free to do whatever we want and when we want.
Which is
Yes.
great. Yeah, awesome.
Yes.
So Ed, would you mind answering that question about what were your first few days or weeks? What did they feel like to you when you moved in and and you also have a nice apartment, if I understand correctly.
That's correct. Yeah, I've got a great apartment. I'll tell you though, at first glance after I got here, I thought, boy, this is small.
Compared to how many square feet did you
I was
have in
just
your
going to
house?
say, compared to, I was living in a 2,700 square foot, 1-floor house. And I moved in here, this is 1,000 square feet, and I thought it was kind of tight. But I'll tell you, after a few weeks, this is the greatest move I ever made. This room, this place is just perfect. And of course, my daughter-in-law helped me organize things, and she is excellent. I'll tell you, she just did a great job. So that was, the woman's touch is always appreciated, you know. I got to tell you though, Arnie also hit on one other spot, and that is you feel a little bit awkward. You know, you're the new kid on the block type of thing. And I first came down here, I was a little apprehensive, just even going off to dinner or to, as Arnie mentioned, breakfast. And I hit it off with one guy, and we started sitting at this tall table because he needed a higher chair to sit in. And the next thing, then Arnie rolled in. Oh, don't go laughing here, Carol. She knows where I'm going. This place did become, now we have 6 guys and 3 girls to sit up there. And it's just become a real kind of a party table in the morning. And our dinner is associated with 10 people now lined up around there chatting away. So we all have a lot of laughs, and it's a great group.
Sounds like Paige, you guys are going to have to add bigger tables at the rate these 3 are going.
Hey, we can do that. Absolutely. I'd love to hear the group growing. That's very cool. I love that.
Yeah, absolutely. So, all right, Paige, I think you're up for the question 6.
I've got number 6. So, okay. So this question we've got is, what's day-to-day like for you? What is day-to-day like for you? So we want to maybe start, Ed, you want to kick it off? We're going to ask all of you that question.
Just as a carryover, well, it starts really as it gets back to that breakfast table with a bunch of people. The thing the thing to be here is we all came from the same spot. We lost a spouse, and you're trying to, it's the same grief situation, it's the same everything. And so everybody's welcoming, and it's my day-to-day though starts off with that breakfast with a lot of laughs and trying to prod Arnie into sharing his desserts with me. But anyway, I drive for Neighbors Who Care, which is a local thing that and it gets me out of here, and I mix with other people besides here, and they give me reassuring stories on why I'm where I'm at. And some of them are really, it's sad, but they belong in something like this because so many of them are singles that they don't have any help around them or anything. And it's
That's
very
sad.
but you also hear you got different lecture series that come through. We have a lot of different things that get added to us as far as intellectually stimulating. Plus you've got, as Arnie mentions, the exercise. We have an on-site physical therapist that helps out. There's a lot of pluses just being here with your social contacts and with outside contacts. ASU comes through and offers different programs as well. So it's an all keeps you busy going.
Well, I was going to say, it doesn't sound like you have any spare time to do much.
That's what my son said today when I talked with him this morning. He says, I got to catch you in between everything that's going on in that place.
Yeah. Well, that's good though, right? If you want to be
Yeah.
busy, you can be. But
That's
Arnie, go ahead.
No, you're absolutely right. If you want to be busy, you can be busy. If you don't want to, just stay in your apartment.
Well, or Arnie, you'd mentioned the library that sometimes you'll go down
Yes.
there.
Yes, that's true. I will. And of course, reiterating what I said previously, my morning starts off with breakfast with friends. We have a lot of laughs. We have a good time. The afternoons, I will go to the gym. They do have entertainment for us here. They'll bring in speakers, and we have entertainment. We have choirs. We have instrumentalists that come in, pianists, and there's always something that they plan for us, so we can be as busy as we want. And in the evenings, I have dinner with my friends, and it's just a wonderful day.
Okay. That's wonderful. Yeah. Great. We did get a question that, do you guys know of any couples who have moved into the park? Carol, can you weigh in on that? So what is their experience, moving in together before, maybe not waiting until a spouse has passed?
Well, I think we do have a lot of couples here, and there are several that I do know. They seem to like it very well. They enjoy not having to take care of a house and the maintenance, and they're older and they get to be together and do whatever they want to do. I think that they enjoy doing activities together here that they can do. And actually, if there are a lot of activities they don't want to participate in, then they don't. But there are so many available to them. And I think that they're happy to be able to be free of the house maintenance and everything that goes with owning a home, and being in a place like this where they have other couples and lots of friends. And I know for myself, I said I was very lonely at home by myself, and I didn't realize how lonely I was until I came here. And I have so many friends here and so many things to do here. And by the way, we also have a salon here where you can get your hair done, you can get your nails done, and they give facials, and so you never have to leave if you don't want to. But I think the couples here are really enjoying their lives here together.
So I'm going to ask Ed the next follow-on question, which is, what challenges, if any, did you run into in downsizing? Like, 2,700 square feet, that's got to be a lot of furniture.
No. In fact, I was very fortunate in selling my house. The people that bought it took everything lock, stock, and barrel. So I didn't have to sell the furniture. But a lot of people use estate sales and dispose of their furniture that way. I did come in here and I brought with me some of my chairs that were my favorite things. And a lot of the artwork or pictures that I brought. I brought, as I say, two chairs that were my wife's favorites and a Bombay chest. And then I bought the rest of the furniture that fit. The bedroom here is large enough. If you really wanted to put it in there, you could get a king size bed in, but you're going to be using up just about all the space. So it's just me, so I can sleep in a queen size bed very comfortably. And I just got those furniture and that was it. Yeah, that's a one-time fixed everything. The only thing, that was the only apprehensive thing I had about is if how I could adapt. Really, actually the room is just great. And that didn't take but a couple of weeks to get used to it, but it's are you going to adapt to community living? And I found that just really disappeared in nothing flat. This is a contact sport. You got to meet people, and that's what it is. It's just I've been doing this for so long that in talking to people that some people would probably like to ask me to be quiet once in a while.
No.
Yeah,
No.
it might happen. But I really enjoy it. Everything is just blended beautifully. Couldn't ask for anything better.
Wonderful, wonderful. And then so we got and one thing that you had mentioned, Arnie, was music, because I know how much you love music. So Carol, I'm going to ask you this question. So what does your day-to-day life look like? Because I'm pretty sure it involves a dog in your patio.
Yes, my day-to-day life is really nice. I get up in the morning, I let the dog out, and then I can, come back in and do what I do in the morning. I usually will go to the gym 3 days a week and then come back and do some work on my computer. And then, of course, there's always lunchtime. And then if I want to, I can leave and go shopping and go to the mall. I'm just 5 minutes from the mall. And then we have happy hour on Wednesdays. So every Wednesday there's happy hour, and we get a couple of free drinks and lots of hors d'oeuvres. And then we get to visit with everybody and all the other people that are there. And then of course, I always look forward to dinner during the later part of the day. And several of us meet in the library, and then we go into the dining room and have dinner. And afterwards, I usually will take a walk with a couple of the other girls, and we walk all 3 floors, and we'll get a mile or a mile and a half in.
Oh.
And then some nights we have Rummy Cube that we play. And there's about 5 of us that play that. So my day-to-day life is really full. And then I also volunteer for Hospice the Valley. So I do that when I get a call. If I'm available, I go and I do that as well. And that's very rewarding to me, as well as just being here. So that's kind of what my day-to-day life is like, and I love it.
I'm exhausted just listening to the two of you, to be honest with you.
I love that you guys all volunteer. I mean, that is just so amazing that you guys are so out there doing good things and volunteering, and it keeps you young and vibrant.
We
Yes,
don't
it
grow
does.
old.
That's right.
Yeah,
Nope.
I love it.
So one thing that you had mentioned, Carol, there was you mentioned some of the day-to-day, and Arnie had mentioned some of the concerts, but what about group activities? What kind of, whether the celebrations or
Oh,
the
yeah.
one, what do you guys do?
Usually every holiday, they have something special going on, whether it's a lunch or a dinner or whatever. And so I noticed that there's a sign up, not a sign up, but a sheet showing that this Monday that they are having a barbecue from 11 to 1. And so it's like that. And for Christmas, we always have a Christmas dinner. For Easter, we do, brunch. And of course, we have our champagne brunch every month.
Every month.
Once-
That's right.
Every month.
Every month on a Sunday. Mhm.
Yes, and that's on a
I
Sunday.
hear about that.
Mimosa brunch too.
Right, and you can also invite family or friends to do that. And so there's always an activity usually that is associated with some holiday that's coming up. They always do something that's special here for that holiday. So that's always something to look forward to, because some of the people here don't have families. And so if they don't go to their family for a specific holiday, they know that there's something available here and that there's a lot of people that will be doing something as well.
So they have the family that they've moved in with as opposed to, you know, blood relatives. So that's really nice.
Yeah, it is. It's really nice. And I enjoy it. And I think it's really nice that they take the time to do something special, you know, to commemorate whatever holiday it is. And you always don't feel like you're left out of something because there's always something to do.
Well, Carol, I want to ask you a favor. When they do the next luau, can you make sure that we get photos of Ed and Arnie wearing grass skirts?
Yeah.
You may have to wait for a while to get that picture.
And the
I
cover.
don't know. I think we could ask around and see if we couldn't get some of you to do that.
Yeah.
Well, Ed could talk about, I'm sorry, but I got to jump in. You got to talk about your socks.
Oh, geez.
You are the sock man and I love it. And you have all the fun socks.
I'll tell you, it's like I say, this all got started crazy because I have to wear compression socks. And so I got tired of the bland ones that you have to wear all the time. And those I was wearing them as sleeves on my calves. But anyway, I switched over one day and bought a bunch of these crazy socks. And that started then, I got so many comments on them, especially from women. So I found a way to talk to girls at all times.
Oh,
Young
The
and old.
truth is out.
It's tough when you're in your 80s, you know. You got to use every avenue. But anyway, from that we
And who would have
started
thought
a
socks?
crazy sock day, and we had about total, including participants, of just about 50 people showed up for it. And we put out a red carpet, and we had 21 people that were either with walkers or without walkers. One gal, she left her walker aside. Her son even came to help her walk down the red carpet, and they both wore crazy socks. And then we had 4 great prizes, and it was a hoot. I tell you, we had so many laughs. It was unbelievable, but it was a good time. And it's become our crazy sock day, which we're going to do next year. And we did it in coordination with the Down Syndrome Association, which we then took donations for that, and we delivered them a little over $100. And it was fun, and yet it was also beneficial for a good cause. So we had a great.
And let alone the health benefits of laughing, right?
Yeah, that's right. So now I have about 18 pair of these crazy socks, and I wear them all.
Well, we'll be able to pick you out when you're walking around. There's the sock guy.
That's right. I don't get lost too easily anymore.
I love the fact that all the women like your socks. That's funny.
Yeah, they do. Pam, if I go into crowds, it's always the women that's saying, "I love your socks."
Oh, yeah, see, who knew? Who
But
knew that was a thing?
At my stage of life, Pam, I need every avenue I can use.
You know, you're a smart man. That's the right thing to do. Who knows what'll be next?
That's right.
So while we have you talking, Ed, we have a question about what was a concern that you had. You know, you've mentioned a couple of things between moving from a large house to, you know, integrating with the group, whatever, you know, either you've mentioned it or you haven't. What concern did you have, but it never really happened? It didn't come to fruition.
Wow.
I mean, did you live alone? You know, were you used to not being in a community?
I was all by myself for 4 years. I had neighbors I had some of my neighbors, so I thought I was nuts to do this.
Why?
Well, they thought I was moving out of the area and I was going to forget about them but they're 10 to 15 minutes away from me. And so I go down and see them, used to be twice a week. And it's now I've got so many things going on here that I just go down there on Sunday evenings. Of course, I also sponge a dinner off my son. at the same time. But anyway,
I'm sure he doesn't mind.
no, he doesn't. He's really good. But it was really establishing a new friendships. And as I said earlier, life's a contact sport with other people. And I made so many friends here. It's unbelievable. It's just, I just found that this place is just a joy. In fact, my son describes this as a cruise ship on land, you know?
Yep.
And
Well,
it
cruise ship, that's
definitely
right.
is. I've
Yeah.
heard of that from so many people. And my neighbors who really were trying to discourage me on this later came up here and saw where I was living and what was going on. And they said, man, you made the smartest move ever. So reassuring, but it's just, it's a welcoming situation. I tell you, it's really more than I ever, I don't know what I really expected. It was just an unknown, but I have more fun here than I've had in years. I really
Wow.
That's awesome.
Yep.
Love that.
Okay, Arnie, what question for you, same question, is what were you possibly concerned about that never came to fruition once you moved in?
Well, actually, I had really no concerns about moving here at all. It was more than I expected it to be, but I just I can't say enough about this place that I felt like I was at home here, and I met so many wonderful people. So I really had no concerns. Once I made the decision to move here, I mean, that was it, and I just felt that this was the place for me. So really, I must say that there was no concerns as far as I was concerned. And
Okay.
yeah, it just yeah, it never happened. I was just so pleased with being here. I've never been happier. I mean, my life has changed for the better, and it's the best move that I've ever made.
Yeah, well, and that's wonderful because it's good to hear that, right? From people, this audience, to know that because I think there's a lot of people out there, I've heard from them, I'm sure Paige has too, of, it'll be fine for the first few days, but then it's not gonna, it's not gonna match up with my needs for, having more people around. And Carol,
Correct.
you had mentioned too, that you can bring family, your family is part of the Park family, to whether it's dinners or meals or happy hours or whatever. So you can, have an extended family, if you will. Yeah.
That's right.
So Carol, and Laura, I think it was Laura, had asked the question about food. So what were your concerns, when, that you were thinking of, before you moved in, but then didn't come to fruition? You and I had mentioned, food. Sorry, I apologize. I might have got something in my head. What were your reasons or the concerns first?
Well, one of the things was when I was getting ready to move in, I thought, well, what if I don't like it when I got there? Well, what if I don't like the apartment? What if I can't get my furniture in? So I did have all those concerns. But when I moved in and found out everything, none of that happened. I mean, I liked it. My furniture fit. Everything was great. The food was good. I have certain dietary restrictions, and they're very, very eager to really help you with those. So that's important to me. And I thought about that before I moved in. I thought, my sodium intake is I have to be really careful with that. What's going to happen? And so I just expressed that to the chef, and they're very, very accommodating and try to help you in any way they can with, any food restrictions and there are other people who have other food restrictions as well. So I know that, they do the best they can to help you take care of those things.
Mhm.
But this turned out to be, more than I expected. And it was just the best move I ever made. I just can't tell you how happy I am here. It was the best thing I ever did. I wished I would have done it a year sooner. I really do.
Wow, that says a lot. So since we mentioned food, I'm going to go off the questions for a second.
Okay.
What's your favorite? I'm going to ask each of you that. What's your favorite either meal or, dessert? What's your favorite thing that the chef provides or prepares? Ed, you want to go first?
Sure. I'll tell you, I love a good pork chop. And when I came in, I've never been able to cook one. In fact, I don't cook worth beans, and that is another aside because I am overjoyed. And I think that's what a lot of couples say is I don't have to cook, I don't have to shop and all that anymore. But I had a pork chop that I still get that was really restaurant quality. And I even took a picture of the plate and sent it to my son, who lived in that time up in Colorado, which is where he's at during the summer. And it compares to anything that I've ever gotten up there. And it was just gorgeous. That's my favorite.
Okay.
And there
And the
are numerous
dessert.
other ones too. They do very well with this. They do.
I'm gonna have to try that pork chop. I haven't tried it yet, Ed.
Well, come on down.
I'll be there.
Okay.
Ed,
Barney, how about
too.
you? What's your
I was going to
favorite?
say, Ed pigs out on those pork chops.
Yeah. Oh.
Well,
Good grief.
the tiramisu is great. It's the best
Oh.
dessert we have.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Oh.
Tiramisu. Now that's a tough dessert to prepare. So
Yeah, that's good.
Now,
All
mine's
right.
a little different. I look forward to the once a month Sunday brunch that we have. I always loved Sunday brunches, even when I was living at home with my wife. So I kind of look forward to it. They have a wonderful array of food, a very good variety, and it's just a nice time to meet people and enjoy a nice meal. So that's my favorite thing is the Sunday brunches.
I'm hungry now.
I know, me too.
Yes,
All
And
right.
the
Well,
food- the
thank you
food
for
is-
that.
the food is wonderful here, I must say. Yes.
Well, thank you so much for allowing me to ask that question without any preparation. I didn't know if that would be okay with you guys, so I appreciate that. So Paige, you're up. I think this is our last question.
Yeah. So, okay. So what are the top 3 things you like most about living in an independent living? We can start with you,
Yeah.
Ed, if you want.
Yeah, sure.
Everybody's going to answer this one, have a chance to answer.
I'll tell you,
Top 3.
the biggest thing that I like about this is the freedom. And when I told my son that, he says, freedom, what freedom? And I said, I'm free from, I'm a lousy cook, which my wife pointed out to me many times. But anyway, I'm a lousy cook. I don't like to shop for groceries. I don't even know how to shop for groceries. She didn't teach me. But I have total freedom from my house. I no longer care about who's doing the yards. I don't care about, I have a house cleaner that comes in here once a week and does surface cleaning all over the place, takes care of my floors, which I like to see. I have, she will also make your bed for you if you put out things. I'll tell you, what more can you ask for? And that's the big thing that I really enjoy is all the services that I get here. I need a light bulb changed, I tell them. And they either hand me the bulb because I'm 6 foot, just about, and I can reach up there and put in my own light bulb, but he comes in, they'll hang pictures for you, they'll do anything. And I mean, you've got all the services around here. All you have to do is be a happy person and go talk to people. And if you don't like it,
And eat.
in your room. That's
Right.
it. Yeah.
Yes.
So how about you, Barney?
Well, I would say the best part for me is the wonderful friends that I've made here. I mean, I can't tell you how wonderful that has been to me. It's just amazing. Everybody here to me is just so accepting and welcoming. And there's always new people that you meet here, new residents that have moved in. So that part is always important to me. And I would say also the fact that I don't have to prepare meals because I don't cook either. So that's very important. I don't have to do any shopping. The meals are wonderful. And that's another great part about independent living. And then I would also say the third thing would be the socializing here. I think it's wonderful. I've met a wonderful woman, and we have connected, and she's become the love of my life. And it's just wonderful. I couldn't be happier. My life has been so complete by living here. I would just say it's been wonderful. So that kind of sums it up for me.
Good. Sounds wonderful. Well, Carol, the boys have teed you up for what else is there? What are the three things that you really enjoy about independent living in a community?
Well, I think, again, the freedom that I have to come and go as I want. I still have my car, so I drive, which is nice,
Mhm.
and I can go and do things. So I do like that. I also enjoy the company of all of the friends that I've made. Sometimes in the evenings, we join in the library, several women, and we sit and just visit and just relax. And so I enjoy that part of it as well. And also, I think the convenience of not leaving here for my nails if I want to do that. And I also like the fact that the mail delivery is right here on the first floor. You don't have to go out anywhere. And so all of that is a real convenience for me. And I think the biggest thing is that the friends that I've made. I mean, I have more friends here than I've ever had in my life. And we've all become just a family. We're a community in a family, and we all care about each other. And we know that if we don't see somebody at dinner, we need to find out, are they okay? So if those three things were really important to me. And again, I couldn't be happier being here.
That's wonderful.
Love it.
One thing that you had mentioned to me, because you mentioned that you drive. What if you don't want to drive?
I'm sorry, what? If why what?
What if you didn't feel like driving? Are there alternatives?
Oh yes. If you want to go somewhere, we do have a car that is here, or a van, and they will take you to doctor's appointments or to grocery stores. They do plan those, so that if you don't want to drive, you can always sign up to do that. And they go to the grocery stores, they go to doctor's appointments, they go, sometimes they even drive to plays and things that are being presented
Street
outside
fair?
of here.
You got the
Oh,
Hale
yeah.
Theater,
So-
yeah. Mhm.
And yeah, and so I know the van took us one time to the street fair in Tempe, and it was the art street fair, and we all went to that, loaded up in the van, and off we went. And then they'll pick us up and bring us back home. So we didn't have to worry about parking down in Tempe where it's busy. So that's just really nice to have that available to you if you want to use it. It's
That's
great.
wonderful. Yes, it certainly sounds like it. So does anybody in the audience have any questions for our senior living resident panel? I think we've covered all of them. We covered food, which is funny that we all think the same thing. It's like, well, what's the food like? We've covered the spacious apartment. We've covered friends and relationships, and
also the
relationships.
trial stay too. I love, Arnie, that you brought that up. The trial stay. I love
Oh,
that
yes.
that
Definitely.
helps you. 'Cause
Definitely.
we try to offer, I'm actually working on getting my aunt to come from Kansas. And so she's gonna come do a trial stay as well. So
Highly recommended.
yeah. Oh, she's moving in. I'm just having her come, do a quick trial stay so then we get her house sold and she'll come out. So I think that was pretty amazing that you did that, and that made you feel, that helped you with your decision. I love that.
Definitely.
Matt-
Yes.
Matt says food is important.
Yes.
Yes, yes.
It's on everybody's mind. That's for sure.
Exactly. Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
So, if no one has any other comments or questions for our panel, we'll wrap up. I know I personally have had the pleasure of talking with all three of you independently. You are amazing people. I like Paige. I admire that you volunteer. I just really appreciate you taking
I
the
have a
time
question.
out of. Yes.
This is Tom Todd. And
Hi.
I wonder if anybody considered moving to a condo or a nice apartment. Great to be on their own. Or what do you think about that idea?
To living by yourself in an apartment?
Yes.
Well, most of those, Tom, that I see are, they've got them around that are 55 and older luxury apartments, they call them. And it is strictly an apartment. And so you go in there, they usually don't have anything social. You have to really scramble to meet people. And then when you do, a lot of them that are 55 that aren't in our situation, they go off to work each day. And so you lose the availability of a social contact. And I think that that's what keeps us all young. I'll tell you, I'm in my 80s and I feel like I've forgotten about numbers. It's as Arnie has mentioned and Carol both, this is like on a cruise ship. It's a different life. I don't want to shop for food, and that's what you're going to do in an apartment.
Yeah.
You're going to do your own cooking and all the rest of that, Tom.
Cleaning,
Yeah.
Cleaning,
laundry.
And paying for your utilities.
yeah, utilities. If you happen to leave the water run here, you're not worried about the fact that I'm stealing somebody's water or something. That's an oversimplification, of course, but it's. I just think it's.
Well, yeah, to me, it's like comparing apples to oranges.
Yeah, really, you can't. You're right, Arn. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is not the same. And the socialization too, and the food, just everything like you said, Ed. And you get the landlocked cruise ship. That's
Well,
what
if you read
That's
if
right.
you read stuff about contacts and life and everything, the more social contacts you have, the better your attitudes are.
Oh,
and
yeah.
longer it helps for longevity by a long shot. And
Yes.
that's a kind of
And for those people like myself, where socialization is something I try to stay away from, stimulation is also important. So being able to sit in the library and read a book, see that there's something else going on, or listening to music without, you don't have to talk with other people, but you're still stimulated. And
Right.
because I work with people who care for those with dementia, the first thing that I reference is COVID, right? Isolation kills. It
loneliness.
increases the decline of your brain and can cause cognitive impairment. And so the more isolated you are, the less quality of life you're going to have. You may live, this is the scary part, you may live 20 years. But if you live 20 years in isolation and you can't function and you can't enjoy your life,
Good.
why would you do that to yourself? Why wouldn't you at least be in an environment that's healthier for you? So yeah, thank you for that.
I agree. Yes.
Healthier environment, absolutely.
Yes.
I recently read where they said that if you are loneliness is like smoking a pack of cigarettes a day or a half.
Yes,
Wow.
it is.
It is.
Yes.
It shortens your life. And this is a life extension visit here. The thing is, in here, you can be as connected as you want to be. If you don't, and involved as much as you want to be. If you don't want to do it, don't do it. But we try and draw. In fact, I've run into family members of people that say, I wish I could get my mother to go down and socialize more. Well, we try to do that here with they've got an ambassador program here where we try to reach out to people, especially when they come in new, to get them down for dinner and all this, get them mixing into the groups. And in fact, Arnie and I just met with a fellow that's coming in here this next month, whose wife just passed away 2 months ago. And he's coming in, his sons were with him the other day. And I was telling him, loneliness kills. It just slows you all down.
Yeah.
So they're tickled pink to get their dad in here. So
Yeah. Well, and that's something that we didn't talk about though, too, is and Carol, you had mentioned this when we talked. If you are in a community like this, your adult children have peace of mind. They don't
Yes,
have
they
to
do.
worry about you. Can you talk to that, Carol? About your
Right,
kids?
they do. Yes. And I know that my children were just happy that I was moving to this community. They're only, one of them is 10 minutes from me, the other one is 5 minutes from me. And it just takes a big relief off of them to know that I'm never alone. And that if something does happen, that they're very close and then can get to me quickly instead of having to drive to Phoenix like they used to do. So it's just a big relief for them and for me too.
Yeah, because you're not worrying them. As an adult
Right.
child myself,
Right.
I felt better that I knew my parents were safe and being watched over
Yeah.
and eyes on them. And, you know, if someone fell or something happened, that there would be somebody there immediately while I was getting there. So
It does give your
Right.
children peace of mind. It does.
Yeah, it
Okay.
Gives
does.
your children
It
peace of
does.
mind for sure.
I have a couple more quick ones.
Yes.
sure.
So we're a couple, we're 75. How would we fit in age range wise? Where would we fit in the average age of the people, of the residents there?
Well, I never check ages. I don't know.
Age
Yeah, I
is
don't
just a
check
number.
ID.
Well, it's for 55 and over, so.
So
know,
you're age eligible to move in here, so we
Yeah,
don't.
we have
discuss
them all the
age.
way from 55 to 90, so.
So we don't.
But if you think about what's behind that question, though, when you say, how would we fit in? Do these three people give you the impression that they're the ages that they are? Because I know people who are 50 who act like they're 80.
Right.
And then you guys, you know, are, you know, and some of you are, I don't, Carol, I'm not going to ask your age, it's impolite, but the boys are in their 80s. And as a result, you know, they don't sound like it. They're active, they're volunteering, they're doing this, they're doing that. So it really comes down to who are you and how active are you? How engaged do you want to be? And if you're going in as a couple, it sounds like there's quite a few couples there. So you have to keep that in mind that it's not about a number. It's about who you are.
Tom, you need to come for a trial stay.
Yeah,
Maybe. So then I can
Yeah.
find out my last question, which is, I like to barbecue. Where could I barbecue there?
there's one out in the patio.
Patio. Oh, yeah.
Use our patio. We've got a barbecue out there. Have at it. In fact, I'll bring steak down for myself if you like to cook.
Yeah.
Okay. We
Yeah,
cook
we
it
have
there. No, are there picnic tables or something? Cook it and eat right there?
Yeah,
Yeah,
tables are out
Yeah.
there.
Tables are on the patio, yes.
Sounds good.
And there's a big screen TV and
That's
a
right.
shaded area. And
Misters, the whole
And we
bit.
have
Misters, everything.
pictures, so it's cool out there, yes.
Hey, thanks.
All right. Thank you for asking your questions.
Thank you, Mark.
We're looking forward
Matt's
to
comment
seeing
is
you
great.
here.
We're looking forward to seeing you there. Tom, do you live in Arizona?
Yeah, we live actually up by Surprise. So
Oh,
we thought
Well,
this was going to be about the park in Surprise.
We have the park at Surprise. That's absolutely right.
Mhm.
Wonderful.
We have visited.
Well, so Ed, I'm sorry, but if he's gonna move to the one in Surprise, you're not gonna get your steak done.
No, I guess not.
no. And you won't meet these three wonderful people.
That's right. Well, it's worth, like you said, trial stay. All right,
Sure.
well, we are at the top of the hour, and so I want to respect everybody's time and schedule. But thank you, Ed, Arnie, and Carol, and Paige for coordinating all of this. And you guys are just amazing. And I hope that everyone on this call or listening to the recording has found it educational and informational. And hopefully it's brought you some hope about what life could look like. Your life could be any one of these three lives. So thank you again. I appreciate it.
Thank you
Thank
guys
you.
so much.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you.
We'll see you.
Bye.
Take
All right,
care.
good luck.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.